What's happening with your voice?
Oh, inhaled some dust or something. That's what I feel like.
I get it.
Drinking water, but it's not helping.
You sound as smooth and mellifluous.
Yeah, welcome. FM, my FM voice.
I was thinking blues voice.
Oh, yeah, that could be that too. Welcome to a bold and distant future. We are a podcast that cracks open the week of news, scrambles it, and prepares a fine souffle. So we're going to get into it. We've got a big miscellaneous news here at the top, and then we'll get into a couple of one video clip and interesting website I found out about, and we're going to talk about flock cameras. What do you guys think about these flock cameras?
I'm wondering how we can sabotage them. Did I say that online? We'll probably have to cut that out, won't we?
That's been quite the rage these days of flock sabotaging.
Yeah,
I was reading up on it, and people, there's little groups of people dressed up and going out there and cutting them down and stuff.
The interesting thing is that there is now, of course, there's an online deflock map, and I will say that our little hamlet and the little hamlet next door have none, but when you get into the bigger hamlet that's about 15 miles east of here, there's dozens. I was just shocked.
I heard the other night that San Francisco has over 400 flock cameras in the city, which I was
I can
surprised.
believe it.
Yeah.
Look at the deflock map, man. It's insane.
Please send me that. Hey, this is happening. An appeals court upholds the block on the Trump ballroom construction. Now, how does that work? He's halfway, a third of the way through, and it's a big mess. So does he have to stop and clean it all up?
He's got to tear it down and put the east wing back.
Yeah. I love the whole premise of act first. What's the saying? Do something, then ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
it's better to ask for forgiveness and wait for permission.
Exactly.
Is that how it is?
Yes.
So let's just go whack down a building and then say, what are you going to do about it?
And is this photo a split screen image, or
No.
is this actually what it looks like?
That's actually what it looks like right now.
Jeez.
It is
The
a
panorama.
mess. It makes
Wow.
me sick, and it makes me nauseated to look at our White House looking like that.
Oh my God, I have not seen that.
I've got another picture
Yeah,
coming
the
up. Here it is
staggering
again.
thing is looking at the scale of that stupid thing next to the actual White House.
Yeah.
Oh
What
my
in the
God.
Yeah, it's going to dwarf the White House.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God. I just saw, the only pictures I've really seen are with the East Wing missing. I haven't not seen or paid attention to the aerial view. What the actual hell are they doing? I mean,
it's
I know what they're doing, but
Well, hey, Carolyn Levitt stepped down. She left. I don't know if she's
Did she? Wow.
Yeah. Yes,
doing
she
a
did.
Marjorie
Thank
Taylor
God.
Greene jumping ship before it sinks, or what, or if she's home to take care of her children. But
That is the story they're selling, that she wants to spend more time with her new baby that was born in May, and also she's going to apparently, according to Trump, run some of the stuff they're doing for the upcoming November elections.
hey,
That's the story.
Yeah.
The Trump Participation Trophy made another appearance. This is its third appearance. It's been moving around, and here it is on the Capitol lawn.
Yeah, I love it.
So whoever's made this and keeps moving it around, it's kind of hysterical. We read the plaque once before, but it gives Trump just a participation trophy for starting the Iran war. Thank you, for doing a so-so job,
yeah, what is it? Let's go to is it the USS Lincoln that sailor jumped off?
I didn't hear that story.
Oh, Lord, they've been deployed for 265 days longer than they were commissioned to deploy. And apparently the conditions on board are so bad that they don't have food, they don't have medical care. I mean,
Yes.
these are our U.S. servicemen, and one of them dove overboard, and the Navy's covering it up, saying we're not aware of anything like this. But his wife is like screaming about it, like,
I
do
know.
something. Leadership at its finest. Go Pete
Yeah.
Hegseth.
Here's an interesting map. It's interactive, and they have different things they talk about: democracy and LGBTQ equality maps, and they're interactive. So it's a great website. It's called the Movement Advancement Project. And if you check it out, if you ever want to compare states in terms of democracy or voter numbers or anything, it's a great little website, very easy to use, and just click on and it lets you compare different regions and states, and it's really great. So check that one out.
Oh man, sadly that's very helpful in this climate.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart to see all that red.
Yeah, it really is. It's, these marginalized people who can't travel freely in their own country, It's pretty horrible.
Yeah, and I've got a biracial granddaughter who is also part of the LGBTQ community, and I've always wanted to do like a road trip to the United States, and I've been hesitant lately, and now I see that my hesitation is validated.
It's warranted, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's
just
really
you have
tragic.
to be careful. It's like, gives you an idea of where to be cautious, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to Europe. Forget it. We'll deal with this later.
On the other hand, Valentine and I took that road trip out to Wyoming, South Dakota, and Nebraska, and I was kind of worried that our California plate might draw some attention, but people were really, it's kind of like when we were overseas and people were going, don't you feel unsafe? And I'm going to say that in many of the countries where people were worried about us, I felt safer there than I would have felt in many parts of different American cities that I shall not name.
Absolutely.
Right, don't believe
I found that very true, especially lately.
Mm-hmm. Same with me in our trip. And there was that sense that you can engage to a degree in conversation and or activity, but there was also awareness. So, okay, how far can I go? Have I gone as far as I needed, or can I express myself in other ways that might bring harm? So that's what
it might be interesting to have an overlay of, and I don't know how they would collect the data, but an overlay of how people perceive the rights of these folks.
Yeah, great idea.
Well, the thing you want to avoid is going to these Geo Group prisons and Core Civic prisons. They are all over the United States, and I think they're one of the main reasons that ICE is, pulling in immigrants to fill their prisons. And they're for-profit prisons. You can see 86% of the prisons in the United States are privately operated facilities. Only 14% are government operated.
Fascinating, because they all present themselves as their government organizations when they're all just private entities. Wow.
Pretty interesting to see where they're located.
Yeah. Well, they're highly motivated to bring in people into their prisons. The government pays for the prisoners, I believe. How does that work? I think from tax dollars. The more people they have filling the prisons, what is, I think, the prison industrial complex, and that's what's driving a lot of the bad stuff that ICE is doing.
Oh, I think if you dig into it and see who is the parent companies, or do an audit trail on where the money comes from and who's being filtered into what. As a bookkeeper, for me, just from a numbers standpoint, I think that would be a fascinating project just to take on my own for fun.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Miller apparently doesn't have shares in Core Civic or GeoCore, but Donald Trump's personal finances disclose that he does contain investments in these private prison operators. Wow. So he is benefiting from these prisons himself financially.
No conflict of interest there. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
How is it that this one family has taken over every aspect of financial, anything that you can financially possibly gain anything from? Their fingers are in that pot. It just makes me sick. Everything. I'm surprised they don't have stock in the lettuce or.
They probably do. Ask yourself how Epstein had his connections, to so many high and, shall we say, powerful positions, temporarily powerful positions.
Well, that's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah, and the same thing's true with our beloved 47 and his family.
It boggles my mind that we have this will go down in history as like the biggest grift in the world.
Yes, it will.
I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds of years after we're dead, it'll be like they'll compare it to the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah, he's a con man, and he figured out a good way to con the government out of a lot of money
my
and the
God.
taxpayers out of a lot of cash.
Yeah, well, he just took the government over. Very
Yeah.
simple. Yikes.
No kidding. I'm not sure if the videos come. Go ahead, Craig.
I was sharing with Roy earlier that fascinating video. I'll share the link by an economist, I believe a European economist named Kathy Mattea, who is talking about the nature of capitalism and how we need to create a new economic system going forward, because the nature of capitalism, its true colors are now readily seen because of Trump. He stripped away all of the layers and just shows how the whole system is dedicated and committed to, migrating all the capital to the top, and then he's the grifter on top of all that. So I think it's something that we'll look at in the podcast later that can be really powerful about creating new economic systems that are actually not prone to these kinds of experiences, that actually respond to people's needs instead of just a small group of people telling us what we need, what services we should have, and how we're going to get them.
Well,
That's a really cool concept. I like that.
These are the flock cameras that are appearing everywhere. And under whose authority do they plant that solar-powered camera in the ground? That's what I wonder.
Yeah.
Do they get city approval?
I did some research on this, and in my little hamlet, they decommissioned them, not for any political reason, but because of the cost. So there's a variety of these companies. Flock is just one of many that law enforcement uses, like for tickets. You drive down the road and all of a sudden you see a flash. You know what I'm saying? If you're speeding, you're like, uh-oh. But they are commissioned by the city. They are appropriated with tax dollars funds. And then our city removed them and went with a different company. So it wasn't, an ideological stance or anything. It was just somebody came in with a lower bid, basically.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting story about how Texas police searched through 83,000 flock cameras and tracked down a woman who got an abortion. Now,
oh my God.
I haven't dug into it, but this is sort of a meme, so I need to dig in deeper to the story. But they're using these cameras, from different states to track people down with such specificity that they can identify particular cars, of course, through license plates and other things like dents and
bumper stickers. Did you see that?
Yeah, all different kinds of things can mark you within these cameras, and they can track you and where you go and say, hey, this is where she went to get an abortion, out of state. When she comes back, they can arrest her.
Oh my God.
It's like, or whatever, theoretically. Now, I don't know if the validity of this story, but that's what's happening. Here's a way to resist and protest. A man in Florida puts a chair next to the flock camera and holds a long pole with a black card in front of the camera.
Love it.
What a perfect low-tech way to thwart the flock cameras. But there are so many. This can't be done everywhere, but it's pretty...
This is the perfect analog protest, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Actually, that gives me an interesting idea. What would prevent folk from very simply building the blocking device and planting it in such a way that no one would have to be there?
Just plant it in the ground, right? A garage sale sign, garage sale next Tuesday, whatever,
Yeah, now you're cooking.
But this is what we're up against, and this is in San Francisco. People are climbing on telephone poles, taking them down in broad daylight.
Good for them.
As I look at it,
Cisco.
I see the link to something deeply troubling in that a device like this, because it's data-based, then is ripe for pillage, right? Just as we learn, through the denial of big tech's appeals that they didn't create platforms for children that were addictive and harmful. That's finally that Band-Aid is being ripped off, and we're seeing the real truth of technology. And so anything that is based in technology and shares data is ripe for these thieves to take. And so even if we have regulations and tight controls against the misuse of that information by a federal agency, say, or by the state of Texas, there are going to be hackers who are going to have access to that anyway. So it doesn't matter whether regulations are in place or not. Anything that is data-driven and data-based now is highly suspect in terms of how we're going to be able to control our society.
Yeah.
God, and the opportunities for absolute misuse and corruption are
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling. I'm going right through right now with my brain going, well, they can do this, they can do that. It was, which once started out as a tool to catch the bad guys is now likely being used to control, like, voters. Like if you put a
Absolutely
bumper
right.
sticker that, says Foxtrot Delta Tango or something on it, or 8647, you can get pegged and thrown in a database. I mean, it's feeling very Hitler-esque.
Or mention a hay bale.
Isn't it? Don't mention the hate.
Blue wave.
Oh, yeah, blue wave. There it comes. Well, this is our segment called Primary 2026, where we talk about the primary elections that happened this week. There were some significant ones. I don't know if this is accurate. Alabama, Connecticut, Minnesota, Vermont, and Wisconsin. I don't remember Alabama, but
Well, why would we?
yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm
It doesn't matter. It's going to be red.
Predictable outcome, I guess. But one of the interesting was in South Carolina, they had a special sort of primary between Lindsey Graham's sister, and she lost, apparently. I think a different Republican is going to be running for that
Did
Senate.
she lose? I totally missed that.
I think she may have. This is my least well-researched segment of the show, so I find this very challenging, and I'm doing it just to educate myself.
Let me search it up for you.
Yeah, please search it up.
Search it up.
I played this for my granddaughter.
That's a part of the blue wave certainly knows how to search up stuff.
In Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar will be running for governor.
Yeah, that's nice that she got in.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I like her so much.
Yeah, she's a favorite.
Election results. Okay, let's see.
While we're searching this up, shall we decide where our first billboard will be placed?
We could, yes. How much does it cost to rent a billboard for a month?
That's an interesting question. I think I'll have to ask Siri about that.
Okay, well, my search is Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman advanced to runoff in South Carolina. So the results were too close, so they go to a special election runoff.
You're exactly right. Those two are going to go to a runoff at the end of the month. Those two here it is. Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman advanced to a runoff. That's what's happening. So she's not out of it yet.
Do you think they'll be throwing millions of dollars at this one?
I think they will. I think Darlene Graham is the Trump-endorsed Republican. I don't believe Ralph Norman is.
No, she absolutely is.
Right. So
I guess the bigger question is are the powers that be in the super PACs behind Graham as much as you know who is?
this will be an interesting one to watch, because if they go to Ralph Norman, it shows that Trump's endorsement is less meaningful. He has less power.
Yeah, he's waning. He's in the waning years of his tyranny.
This is the other interesting one in Wisconsin. The Democrats were putting up this woman Hong, who's a Democratic socialist, against Crowley, who's sort of a middle-of-the-road Democrat, I guess they're saying. And he won out, barely, against this woman Hong. And it looks like he's going to be the runner for the governor in Wisconsin.
Which is, I have family up in Wisconsin, and that is actually very good news, because they are very middle of the road there, unless you get like to Madison or Milwaukee. But like in Green Bay and the other areas out there, they are very, very conservative. And at least my family is very, I don't want to say that, well, just they're very ignorant of politics. And they're either red or blue, period. They don't dig deep, you know?
Right.
And so I think this would be more palatable in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they don't want to be seen as
radicals. That might be helpful for the blue cause. Because didn't Wisconsin have a Democratic governor?
Yes, Tim Walz.
Yes.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting to look at the math there, too, because if you look at the number of people that voted for the Republican versus the number of people that voted for a Democrat, it would seem that if the Democrats fall in behind Crowley, he's a shoo-in by a couple of 100,000 votes.
Yeah, it did look that way.
The Democrats out there are hopefully everywhere, but I noticed that too, that their voter turnout was significantly higher than the Republicans. So yay for our team.
And
Go, Craig.
what needs to happen, I think, in situations or states like this is, gosh, the Democrats have to get the message out much more strongly and just talk about how the Republicans have utterly failed the working class. So the white working class that migrated to Trump, that has to be regained because there's no substance whatsoever. So yeah, leave MAGA behind, but instead all of those others who were thinking the Republicans were going to do them justice. No way in hell. FDR's policies did justice to the working class, the working person. No Republican since then has done that.
Yeah, and the Republicans are running scared. That's why they're doing all this red baiting, calling Democrats communists.
Yeah.
They're running. They're scared. They're nervous. So they've got to come out with the big guns.
I think that communist trope fell flat. I think it was a little trial balloon that I was hearing for like a couple of weeks, and I haven't been hearing it anymore. I think everybody was like, yeah, nice try, find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is laughable, but I think there are people that are buying it, but maybe it's a very small group, but some are buying it, sadly.
Don't forget, though, only 33% of the population put Trump in office. Did I say Trump? I'm sorry. I should have said 47.
Yeah.
Here's the video clip. We can talk about it after.
Okay, thank you.
4, 3, 2, 1.
People, a tiny group, this is a country being run by 5 or 6 people, a tiny group, and most people in the government, even at a very senior level, at various agencies, State Department, Pentagon, have no earthly idea what's being said in this room and what's being discussed and what's being planned. So we try, one of the hardest things that we had to accomplish as reporters, for this book, was breaking into those rooms and trying to get out that information, because if this was the first term, it was like anyone could get a leak. It was leaking
constant
stories every day, stream of consciousness. He now has true loyalists around him, and the leaking is just far less prevalent.
Well, you've got the core group of Trump intimates, as you say. Susie Wiles, Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Natalie Harp. Who am I missing on that list?
Hegseth, Kaine, John Ratcliffe. If it's economic matters, you'll get Scott Bessent in there.
Yep.
But it doesn't go much beyond that.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure that I would call all of the people we just described intimates.
Right.
The Bessent, for instance, the Treasury Secretary, and Chris Wright, who Trump, has had Energy Secretary, who Trump has had a lukewarm approach to at best, and emotions about. They weren't even in these meetings that we describe about the lead up to the Iran war. The people who would have to manage the fallout of a global energy crisis from this war were not part of the planning meetings because this White House is so concerned about leaks.
But that's typical of any White House.
No, it's not.
Not like this.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We went to war in Iran. And the Treasury Secretary and the Energy Secretary were not involved in any of the planning meetings to talk about the potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz, to talk about the economic consequences. No, that's not normal. This is a country being run by 5 or 6 people, a tiny group.
Oh, good.
So that's an interview with Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan, who wrote the book Regime Change, which I've yet to read. I'm hoping it'll come out on audiobook. Maybe it has already. I haven't checked. Has anyone read it or planning to?
I'm going to see if I can find that right after the meeting, see if the libraries are carrying it and they're available.
Bookshop.org.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know about that, right?
No.
Which one?
Bookshop.org. You buy from them, they will give a portion of what they earn from the sale of the book to the bookshop of your choice.
Oh,
Nice. But wonder if you can put the link up to that in.
I will.
The interesting thing that when they were discussing the 5 or 6 people and how they don't have, like situation room type planning for events such as little minor things like starting wars.
Right.
I think everybody thinks it's a conspiracy. I think my own personal view is Trump says, we want to do this. Everybody around him says, okay, chief. And there is no thought process to any of it. This is just, he wants to go play war. Let's go see if we can blow up Iran. I mean, let's try this missile. Let's try, it's like he's playing toy soldier or something. And there is no planning. The fallout does not matter. The consequences do not matter.
I think you thought this was going to be the same as Venezuela.
Venezuela, yeah,
days,
but I mean, that's how stupid and I don't even have the great adjectives of.
You're right. What I think about it, we all know there's a cognitive intelligence testing, there's emotional intelligence, but there's also governing intelligence. It's a kind of leadership. And there is none of that when you go ahead and create this insularity circle. This is Hitler-esque is what it is. For one person to be making these decisions and then supported by acolytes who don't counter or question or throw in other scenarios that would get the leader to broaden their thinking. This is a house of cards. This is just a kind of madness that we've allowed. And then again, for Republican senators to not say anything about it.
That's my bet. What is what
has to be their undoing? They need to be yanked from office. And likewise, I was joking with Roy too. I can now see why the reign of terror took place after the French Revolution, because there's such anger and disregard and disappointment by those who were leading before that you can see why they got the guillotine. So the strong emotional cleansing is being felt, and people are, myself certainly today, feeling that, my God, this isn't enough just to pass on to another president and administration. This has to be a cathartic moment for us as a country.
Yes, absolutely.
Bad stuff.
Mitch McConnell was discharged from the hospital after 7 weeks, but the weird and scary part about this deception or whatever it is the image that they're using of him in a wheelchair is not a recent photo. And they've been using this one and another one that I've seen. It was taken back in June or July, before his hospitalization. And
it's the cardboard cutout.
Basically. Yep. But this is I guess they have to have a graphic to go with their headline, and so they look through their stock photos, and they've been putting this picture. Here's the picture, right? Oh, it was from April 30th was when this picture was originally taken, and they've been using it recently as the Mitchell discharged from hospital photo.
Do you know the scariest? Are you guys aware of what they're trying to do now? Is they're trying to give him special privileges so he can vote by proxy?
I haven't heard that, but
yes, that came out last night.
Heck no.
The Senate regulations, you have to physically be there. I mean, even during COVID, if you couldn't drag yourself down there, mask or no mask, to actually physically be in the room to vote, you couldn't vote. If you were a woman and gave birth, you needed to drag that little baby down there with you if you wanted to vote. And now they're trying to make an exception so this man can call in or tell his proxy, somebody he picks in the Senate, to vote for him.
No, that can't be allowed.
That they're trying to push that through, and that leads me to believe that we're truly doing Weekend at Bernie with this guy.
Yeah.
And they're gonna try and push it through.
Send that if you see an article on it. Just send a link to it to our chat.
I will. Yeah. No, I read several of them yesterday.
Because I'm trying to follow that one, even though it seems kind of inconsequential in some ways and kind of silly and humorous, but in other ways it's like a trial balloon for Trump if he ever.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get dead people. You want to talk about dead people voting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go.
Let's use Mitch McConnell as our example.
Yes, accuse your enemy of what you're doing yourself, huh?
Exactly.
I don't know. Do we think he's really dead, or is he just so incapacitated that he can't speak, or anyway?
As far as what his ability to function in the job, I think he's pretty much Bernie dead, not Sanders. But somebody needs to cop to it, or Andy Bashir needs to walk over to his house and knock on the door and get a proof of life picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like a legit one, not a fake wheelchair picture from April.
That's a great idea. I wonder why he's not doing that.
That's what I'm more concerned about than whether he's alive or dead.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't the governor of his state representing
The people.
yeah. I mean, this is kind of deep if you think about it.
He called for proof of life or step down 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, they don't listen.
Nobody's, it's like what is it? The inmates have overrun the asylum, or I mean, that's been going on for years, but this is like on steroids right now.
Well, I offer Mitch McConnell the microphone. If he wants to call into the show, please do. I'm still alive, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I think we got through the news of the week pretty well. It was a fabulous souffle. Thank you guys for helping prepare it and deliver it.
I think it was more of a fondue.
You can eat it any way you want. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Eddie. And we'll see you all next week at a bold and
Okay,
distant
thanks,
future.
guys. That was really fun.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Arrivederci.
Take care.
Arrivederci. Ciao.
Have a good week.